And who do you think is going to be?
Ultimately, they're just like us.
Who do you think is going to be the next president? Does anybody have any?
What's that?
Who's going to be the next president? You think?
I know. I would hate to.
Right there, yeah. Me for the. Do you think it's going to be a conservative?
I hope not.
You know, I hope it is.
Hillary's.
I'm a fiscal conservative.
It is conservative now, so you just.
I don't want any Democrat taking credit for this shit.
Oh, they already.
You want? I get what you're saying.
No, it's going to be bad regardless.
It is. That's true.
What do you mean say bad regardless in what way?
The dollar's going to shit. Shit's going to get really uncomfortable, and people are going to start blowing up buses in this country. And I don't want any Democrat to have to take the.
Give it to me. I'll take
So you think what's going on all over the world right now with all these explosions, like buses and all the markets and all that? You think it's going to start here more? I always wonder about that.
I don't know how it couldn't.
But why isn't it happening?
Timothy McVeigh.
I'll tell you why it's not happening. I'll tell you why it's not happening, because on the north side of Chicago, Arabs live very well, and they like being Americans, and they like living in this country. And there's probably a not a disconnect. There's probably a conflict inside the Arab American community as to when and how bad are we going to do this? Because if it happens, a lot of heat will come down on all the communities across.
And then maybe they're afraid that they're going to get put. The Arabs that are living in this country now might get pushed out. You're saying?
Pushed out or just treated really bad.
So they're like, okay, we're just like. I get it. So anybody that's militant to do all these crazy stuff is not in this country technically. They are, but they're not. It's an extreme of.
Or if they're in this country, they're dealing with influences that mean a lot more than the virtues of living in America. They're dealing with people, their own people that are.
Yeah, well, that's amazing.
Like, hold on now.
Amazing.
My kids are in school.
They like
They like to live. They think I got a
Yeah.
shop.
They don't hate people.
Yeah. They're living good. They got nothing to complain.
Views.
Right? They're like, oh, that's not my problem anymore.
Nothing to complain about, but they're just like. I'm sure they're just like us. They're just on the other side. They're just like, what's the best outcome? What's going to be the most beneficial for me and my family and our people? Are we going to be able to live like Americans until? I would say, I would say it'll probably once the dollar shits and the economy doesn't provide a standard of living has been like it's been for them to be comfortable in this country, then they'll probably won't have so much problem talking their friends out of blowing shit up. I bet you that's when it happens. I bet you when the standard of living in this country drops a little bit, I bet you then people who can't sustain the businesses that they've been able to sustain in this country as Americans with,
We face a risk, is what you're saying.
We will face a risk.
I think I agree. Yeah.
I mean, right? It's I mean, I just.
How long is that going to take? Do you think?
Price of oil goes up next month, I think.
Yeah.
And the month after that.
Not long. I'll say this: the baby boomers.
That's my forecast.
The baby boomers are starting to retire, and that's the biggest generation spending the most amount of money that's ever been spent in this country. And they started retiring this year.
Right.
From the greatest generation to the boomingest generation.
So you do the math. I mean, that's a lot of money right now to not be coming in, and
raise the retirement age. We're never going to ever get the chance to retire.
I'll
be on that little squirrel cage.
Turn this country into a third world country anyway. I mean,
that is not any administration's fault. We've been living fat on oil for that long. That's just how we've done it. And a lot of intellectual capital, which we've been great at, but ultimately we are not going to be able to do that much oil anymore.
But I'm not sure that it's going to be an Arab American. I mean, look at McVeigh. There's a good Celtic last name. That guy went and blew up in Oklahoma City. Timothy McVeigh.
Right.
Well, I'm not.
And there's the guys in Montana.
We're not. But we're not going to.
Waco.
We're not going to be facing an army of white people.
Disaffected.
There might be white people in Montana that have a ranch and didn't get their check from the government a couple years back when their mom died or whatever, for whatever reason. But that doesn't compare, I don't think, to what we're going to be facing from an entire people eventually.
Well, why wouldn't the Indians rise up?
Why can't we make peace with Islam?
I don't know.
They got their blankets, man.
I'm just saying, I'm not discounting that something could possibly happen. I'm just not so sure that it would be an ethnic,
It's a religious war. Why can't we make peace with Islam? That's my thought.
But ideally,
that's what's going on. The war on terror is one step away from a religious war.
Well, I can't.
I don't
still don't understand any of the major religions to really go into trying to figure out exactly.
What's to understand?
That's my point.
A deity, you know, a big man in the sky, you know, and a few other entanglements.
Send a copy to your congressman.
He's like, okay, we gotta go.